Call this meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for a moment of silence for the victims of the two hurricanes. Thank you. So we have some public hearings tonight. Just a few.
Mr. President,
Yes.
Motion to open public hearing for Class A package store retail liquor licenses, Tony Albano Fellow LLC, DBA Richmond Wine and Liquors located at 5 Stilson Road, and NRP Inc. DBA Wyoming package store located at 1199 Main Street.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Any discussion?
Mr. President,
Yes.
move to close public hearing.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Mr. President, move to approve.
No, we're still in public hearing.
Do we vote on the closure of the public hearing?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
We have to read the entire, so we have to read the entire sentence.
Okay.
Motion to approve the complete application for Class A retail liquor license of NRP Incorporated DBA Wyoming Package Store located at 1199 Main Street.
Second.
Any further discussion before we vote? How do we vote?
Aye.
Aye.
Mr. President,
Yes.
motion to approve the Class A retail liquor license of Shell LLC, DBA Richmond Wine and Liquors located at 5 Stilson Road, subject to certificate of good standing and payment of advertising fees.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Page 2.
Mr. President,
Yes.
motion to open public hearing for Class BL victualler, All Coast LLC, DBA Town Pizza 2 located at 18 Kingstown Road.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion on this?
Mr. President, motion to close public hearing for Class BL victualler.
Did you, Mr. President, did you vote on the motion to open? I don't.
Yes.
Take a vote? You
Yes.
did? Okay.
LLC DBA Town Pizza 2 located at 18 Kingstown Road.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Mr. President,
Yes.
motion to approve the application for a Class BL victualler of All Coast LLC, DBA Town Pizza 2 located at 18 Kingstown Road, subject to the certificate of good standing and fire inspection.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay.
Mr. President,
Yes.
it's a big one. Motion to open public hearing for Class B Richland Dragon Palace Incorporated DBA Dragon Palace located at 1210 Main Street. Young Lao Incorporated DBA Bali Village Restaurant located at 1172 Main Street. Richmond Country Club located at 74 Pond Road. Meadowbrook Properties LLC DBA Meadowbrook Golf Course located at 163 Kingstown Road. Richmond Smoke LLC DBA Richmond Smoke located at 1219 Main Street. Wood River Bar and Grill located at 1139 Main Street. Filippo's Twisted Pizza located at 1203 Main Street. Rhodes Foods LLC DBA Ilana's Coffee House and Guac and Roll located at 93 Kingstown Road. Clover Hospitality LLC DBA Ilana's Ale House located at 343 Kingstown Road. Pinecrest Golf Course Incorporated DBA Pinecrest Golf Course located at 25 Pinecrest Drive. Preserve Management LLC DBA The Preserve White Birch Cafe located at 2 Bumblebee Lane, and Preserve Management LLC DBA The Preserve Double Barrel Kitchen located 87 Kingstown Road.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any discussion on any of these? That being said, do you want to close public hearing?
Motion to close?
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Yes.
Motion to approve the complete Class B victual application for Dragon Palace, Inc., DBA Dragon Palace located at 1210 Main Street, Richmond Country Club located at 74 Sand Pond Road, Wood River Bar and Grill located at 1139 Main Street, Richmond Smoke LLC, DBA Richmond Smoke located at 1219 Main Street, Richmond Country Club, Inc., located at 74 Sandy Pond Road, Preserve Management LLC, DBA The Preserve White Birch Cafe located at 2 Bumblebee Lane, and Preserve Management LLC, DBA The Preserve Double Barrel Kitchen located at 87 Kingstown Road.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Mr. President?
Yes.
Motion to approve the Class B victual application subject to fire inspection, payment of fees. Young Lao Inc., DBA Valley Village Restaurant located at 1172 Main Street.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Mr. President, move to approve the Class B particular application subject to fire inspection, payment of fees, and proof of insurance from Rhodes Foods LLC, DBA Ilana's Coffee House and Guac and Roll located at 93 Kingstown Road, Clover Hospitality LLC, DBA Ilana's Ale House located at 343 Kingstown Road.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Mr. President.
Yes.
Motion to approve the Class B victual applications, subject to payment of advertisement fees and fire inspection for Meadowbrook Properties LLC, DBA Meadowbrook Golf Course located at 163 Kingstown Road, Pinecrest Golf Course, Inc., DBA Pinecrest Golf Course located at 25 Pinehurst Drive.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Mr. President, move to approve the Class B victual application subject to certification of good standing for Filippo's Twisted Pizza located at 1203 Main Street.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Mr. President.
Yes.
Motion to open public hearing for victualling additional hours license. KASBAC LLC, DBA McDonald's, 12 Kingstown Road, Wyoming Donuts, Inc., DBA Dunkin' Donuts, 1214 Main Street, Rich Donuts, Inc., DBA Dunkin' Donuts, 26 Kingstown Road, Beaver River Donuts, Inc., DBA Dunkin' Donuts, 418 Kingstown Road, Cumberland Farms, Inc., DBA Cumberland Farms, number 1254, 1175 Main Street, and Global Montello Group Corp., DBA Mobile, located at 1214 Main Street.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Mr. President,
Yes.
motion to close public hearing for victualling additional hours license Casback LLC, DBA McDonald's, 12 Kingstown Road, Wyoming Donuts Incorporated, DBA Dunkin' Donuts, 1214 Main Street, Rich Donuts Incorporated, DBA Dunkin' Donuts, 26 Kingstown Road, Beaver River Donuts, Inc., DBA Dunkin' Donuts, 418 Kingstown Road, Cumberland Farms Incorporated, DBA Cumberland Farms, number 1254, 1175 Main Street, Global Montello Group Corporation, DBA Mobile, located at 1214 Main Street.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Mr. President.
Yes.
Motion to approve the complete applications for victualling additional hour license for Wyoming Donuts, Inc., DBA Dunkin' Donuts, located at 1214 Main Street, Rich Donuts, Inc., DBA Dunkin' Donuts, located at 26 Kingstown Road, Beaver River Donuts, Inc., DBA Dunkin' Donuts, located at 418 Kingstown Road, Southback LLC, DBA McDonald's, located at 12 Kingstown Road, and Global Montello Group Corp., DBA Mobile, located at 1214 Main Street.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Want to do one, Helen?
No.
All right, Mr. President, motion to approve the application for the victualling additional hours license subject to payment of advertisement for Cumberland Farms, Inc., DBA Cumberland Farms, number 1254, located at 1175 Main Street.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Page. Great,
Mr. President,
yes.
motion to open public hearing for seasonal recreation Walaloo RV LLC, DBA Walaloo Campground, 510 Gardner Road.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Mr. President,
Yes.
motion to close public hearing for seasonal recreational Walaloo RV LLC DBA Walaloo Campground, 510 Gardner Road.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Mr. President,
Yes.
motion to approve the incomplete application for seasonal recreation in Walaloo RV LLC, DBA Walaloo Campground, 510 Gardner Road, subject to payment of fees and zoning approval.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye. You sure you don't want to do one?
I don't.
No
You
vote.
two are much better at it, very quick.
Mr. President, motion to approve. Here we go. The complete application renewals for holiday
Point
license
of
for,
order.
go ahead.
Sorry, it's
Sorry.
further down in the agenda. If we want to move it now, we can do a motion to move the licenses up, so that way these businesses can move on with their evenings. So I'll do that.
You're okay with that?
Yeah, motion to move, it's section H in our agenda,
Mhm.
the now.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 All right.
All right, ready?
Yes.
President,
Yes.
motion to approve the complete application renewals for holiday license for the following: Beaver Tree Farm, Charahoe Furniture, Inc., Hope Valley Bait and Tackle, Inc., Wyoming Hot Goods, Inc., Morgan's Workshop, Inc., Jules Antiques and General Store, Ocean State Job Lot Stores of Rhode Island Incorporated, Shoreline Auto Sales LLC, May Loom Salon, Wood River Stagecoach Inn, Richmond Country Club, Jag Enterprises, DBA Beaver River Golf Club, Meadowbrook Golf Course, Richmond Market, NRP Incorporated, DBA Wyoming Package Store, South County Inc., Mandalay Properties LLC, DBA Fetch Rhode Island, Global Montello Group Corporation, DBA Mobile, Stop and Shop Supermarkets Company LLC, DBA Stop and Shop, number 0729. Preserve Property Management Company LLC, DBA White Birch Cafe, Preserve Property Management Company, DBA Double Barrel Kitchen, Preserve Property Management Company LLC, the O Spa, Preserve Range Management Company LLC, the Sporting Shoppy.
Second,
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Mr. President,
Yes.
motion to approve the approval of the application renewal of Fellow LLC, DBA Richmond Wine and Liquors for a holiday license subject to payment of license fees.
Good. All those in favor?
Aye. Mr. President, if you don't mind, can I flip a coin with Councilwoman Wilcox
want
for
break?
this next one?
Yeah, you want a break? I'll take it, Mr. President.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Motion to approve the complete application renewals for a victualling license for the following: Wood River Bar and Grill located at 1139 Main Street, Celebrated LLC, DBA Celebrated, located at 5 Stilson Road, Cumberland Farms Inc., number 1254, located at 1175 Main Street. Dragon Palace LLC, DBA Dragon Palace, located at 1210 Main Street. Flippo's Twisted Pizza, located at 1203 Main Street. Castback LLC, DBA McDonald's, located at 14 Kingstown Road. Lickety Splits, located at 39 Kingstown Road. Meadowbrook Properties LLC, DBA Meadowbrook Golf Course. Navigators Coffee Company, Inc., DBA Higher Grounds, located at 39 Kingstown Road. Pinecrest Golf Course, located at 25 Pinehurst Drive. Richmond Market, located at 5 Kingstown Road. Richmond Country Club, located at 74 Sandy Pond Road. Starbucks Corporation, DBA Starbucks, located at 1 Stilson Road. Washington County Panoma Grange, DBA Washington County Fair, located at 78 Townhouse Road. Beaver River Donuts, DBA Dunkin' Donuts, located at 418 Kingstown Road. Rich Donuts, DBA Dunkin' Donuts, located at 26 Kingstown Road. Wyoming Donuts, DBA Dunkin' Donuts, located at 1214 Main Street. All Cost LLC, DBA Town Pizza, located at 18 Kingstown Road. Global Montello Group Corp., DBA Mobile, located at 1214 Main Street. Richmond Smoke, DBA Richmond Smoke LLC, DBA Richmond Smoke. Preserve Property Management Co. LLC, DBA White Birch Cafe. Preserve Property Management Co. DBA Double Barrel Kitchen.
All those in,
I need a second.
Second.
a second? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Mr. President, move
Yes, sir.
to approve the following application rules for the victualling license subject to DOH permit to operate a food service establishment for AC Lemonade, DBA Bell's Lemonade, Tree Sub. Is that what it is? Tree Sub? Oh, is that the new, yeah, okay. Incorporated DBA Subway located 1190 Main Street, the Stop and Shop Supermarket Company, LLC, DBA Stop and Shop number 0729.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Mr. President,
Yes.
motion to approve the following application renewals for a victualling license subject to DOH permit to operate food service establishment and payment of fees for Wallaloom RV LLC, DBA Wallaloom Campground located at 510 Gardner Road.
Double second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Mr. President,
Yes.
motion to approve the following application rules for the victualling license subject to payment of license fees for Young Lao Incorporated, DBA Bali Village Restaurant located at 1172 Main Street, Clover Hospitality, LLC, DBA Ilana's Ale House located at 343 Kingstown Road, Road Foods, LLC, DBA Ilana's Coffee House, and Guac and Roll
Yay.
located at 93 Kingstown Road.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Mr. President,
Mhm.
motion to approve the complete application for Jeweled Antiques and General Store, Zampini Auto Wrecking LLC for second-hand dealer / junkyard license.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Sure you don't want to do the last one? Go ahead.
Motion to approve the complete application of Wood River Bar and Grill located at 1139 Main Street, Richmond Smoke LLC, DBA Richmond Smoke for an indoor entertainment license.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Mr. President,
Yes.
I just want to thank the staff for making us look smart and putting together this amazing list of everybody who did what and what we're supposed to say. So thank you to the town clerk.
Yes, thank you very much.
Mr.
Thank
President,
you.
if I may. I just want to publicly thank, Kendra has been working with these licensed businesses since July and other town officials to get to the point we are tonight. We still have a few more that will appear on your next agenda. But she has been diligently working and contacting the businesses to
Thank you.
get everything that
Right.
they need. So I just want to thank
I
you.
didn't realize we had so many businesses in town.
So this is basically 99% of them with stragglers. They're gonna come in at the next meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is
Okay, so now
Mr. President,
moving on to the consent agenda.
Mr.
Yes.
President, motion to approve consent agenda items 1, 2, and 3.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Public forum. Right now is the time where we invite people to come up, identify themselves and where they live. And you're welcome to speak. Anyone?
Yes, good evening. My name is Kenneth Moden. I live in Richmond. And do I understand that I could have as much as 3.5 minutes? to
You can
speak?
have as long as you'd like, if there.
Okay. Well, I'm a Persian Gulf veteran and I've lived in Richmond since 2015. My immediate family and I have served over 50 years in the armed forces collectively. Since 2015, with the love and assistance of my amazing wife, we have fought for my father's life, managed an at-home care for my mother during a horrific 4-year decline of Alzheimer's. I've worked 2 separate jobs, earned a bachelor's degree, and I presently manage a small corporation with a highly technical project as part of my family's legacy and estate, which has been expensive, time-consuming, overwhelming, and does not yet produce any income. Although of age, I cannot yet retire, and I recently became unemployed. My wife and I volunteer in a local community, and I'm in a full-time job search, and my town taxes are about $900 a month.
Wow.
Recently, my body and my family doctor told me to get a little more rest and avoid stressful situations. So you might ask why I'm at this podium tonight. But first, I'm here to thank each of you for your time and service, and I'm sorry that Mr. Nassani isn't here because I wanted to thank him personally as well. But I'm concerned about this council and the future of the town of Richmond with deep concern because our pledge as one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all, unfortunately, to me, represents hypocrisy in this chamber. And I charge you collectively with that hypocrisy, not as individuals, but as a team. Because I personally can't see how this council could be any more divided. And I know that you're doing better these days, but my first experience here was a nightmare. Collectively, you do not abide by the Constitution of these United States as a common standard to unite you as a truly bipartisan force that can properly represent the people of Richmond, Rhode Island. My first town meeting was on July 18th, 2023, when I came to see how this wonderful little town of Richmond was being managed. And that same night, I realized there was not only intense division among you, but derision, contempt, disrespect, and hatred. And I'm appalled at this reality. And Mr. Trimmer, as president, as respect as I have for you, you are the leader, and I hold you responsible for the dysfunction of this team. Because a team with hatred is worthless to the people of Richmond. And I charge future presidents to mitigate this problem. After that meeting, I stayed to meet some people, one of whom was Vice President Richard Sandy, which I wish was here tonight. And this was my first meeting. For the first time I met him, my first town council meeting. And in the first 90 seconds of that conversation after the town council meeting, Mr. Nasani told me that Mike Colasanti in particular was an evil man, was a liar, and cannot be trusted. And the tone of Mr. Nasani's voice was dripping with hatred. And I want to ask, is this how you introduce new people to the town council? And I can only imagine that Mr. Nasani has spent many hours since then spreading malcontent across town. Now, I've looked at both parties' websites with pure intentions, and I've voted 3 of you in office, and 1 of you was a Democrat. That gives away who that might be. Because you're a talented group of people, but we should not be mirroring the problems that are dismantling the fabric of our nation. If anything, this little town of Richmond should set a precedence of how things could be done differently. I've really looked at both parties' websites with pure intentions of voting for the best candidates, Republican or Democrat. And I was appalled to see that Mark Reynolds' opening paragraph in his bio read, "The Republican members of the town council have engaged in behavior that has turned our usually boring town meetings into a sea of dysfunction." These are not the words of an educated man in the profession of law, but those of an adolescent, dysfunctional child who is sowing the same discord that we have seen in the embarrassing, and I mean embarrassing, presidential debates. That the most powerful men on this planet would behave the way they did in front of all of the world is embarrassing to me as a veteran of these United States who swore to protect the Constitution of the United States with my life. And in my opinion, it's also a disgrace to those who have shed blood, become dysfunctional and debilitated, and have died for the freedom of speech. Freedom of speech comes with accountability, and our actions to move about comes with accountability. And we need to recognize that what we say and what we do has a profound effect on the world around us. It's not just a song, it's not just a poem, it's not just a TV show. It is an indoctrination of the human mind. And I know a bit about communications. And I've seen what's happened to young women in this day and time with the digital dysfunction and the mutilation of their bodies and the suicides that are running rampant. We have a responsibility to speak words of dignity, honor, and justice. And that is not happening behind the scenes among you as a team. And I would gladly help unite you, but there has to be forgiveness. You have to eliminate the hatred. You need to extract it like toxicity out of a wound. Any corporation, any body cannot function with that type of toxicity and hatred. Now, I know all of you are doing better, and I have a great deal of respect for each of you as individuals. But as a team, I don't see how you can best serve the people of Richmond, Rhode Island, because of this division, because of hatred, which should never be mentioned among people who are in leadership positions as a team. Not any team that I've ever served with. And I've served with a lot in corporate, military, government, and in my own business. So I'd make a movement that the town council, both now and soon to be elected, hire a professional mediator to help work out your problems. And I might suggest that mediator should not be a lawyer, but maybe instead a pastor or a clinical social worker. And it embarrasses me to say this, but I love this town and I love the people in this town, yourself included, because I've worked at that in my life and I've learned how to forgive. And love has everything to do with fostering the well-being, the growth, and the goodness of someone's life without focus on my own selfish gain. It's not about the bottom line. It's about service to people, service to people. And if you're in that chair for any other reason, you don't belong there. It's about service to people. And our whole nation needs to grasp hold of this concept. This was not fun for me, and this is not enjoyable, and it was not without stress. And I've been thinking about this for 15 months, and I've avoided this chamber because of my first experience here. I'd like to be part of bringing this town together and fostering a place where businesses can grow, where we can keep Richmond rural, and we can thrive as a community of people who love and forgive each other, because we all came from the same place. We're all made of dirt and water, which basically without the gift of God's life makes us walking mud bags. So let's be thankful to our God that we pledge allegiance to and stand united under, and try to forgive and love one another and get to the table, have a cold beer to the extent that you legally can do that, and work out the problems, because I can't stand seeing my town suffer with this dysfunction. So I'm here to help. Let me know how, because I'm with the people who want to do things right. I don't care what color your skin is or what party you stand with. So if I can help, call me. 401-360-4951. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
You can.
Bob Sayer, Richmond. I've got a couple of things. First, I'd like to thank that gentleman for the wise comments that he made. I actually had a conversation with him last couple of weeks, and I'm not as religious as him, but I've always lived by the golden rule, and that's treat people like you want to be treated. That said, I have a question about the municipal court. I want to know, the municipal court was brought up before, and now I understand that it's going to be put off until new council is seated. I want to know why. First of all, I understand that it's because it's very close to election time and everything else. But what I want to know is, when the council approved it, it went to the vote. We all voted on this. I believe it was back in 2022. I'm not positive, but I believe it was in 2022. I want to know why why it wasn't established yet. And by putting it off until after the election, because the voters did vote for a municipal court, does the council have the right to change that in the next cycle?
First of all, the council didn't put off the municipal court. The town administration chose to do that. It would have been tremendously expensive and damaging to our town to enact a court and then 3-4 weeks later after an election to eliminate it. I think that is why, I can't speak for sure, but I can assume that that is why that it was put off.
But it was back in 2022 when it was approved.
Right.
Why hasn't it been done since 2022? That's my question.
Mr. President. So the procedure was, the question in front of the voters was, a charter referendum, which enabled the town council to create a municipal court. That was approved by the voters. It then had to go to the general assembly. We had to get our charter ratified and all this boring, legal mumbo jumbo like that. So that takes some time. Me personally, I didn't want to bring it to the table just because I didn't know how other counselors would feel. But it kind of naturally came up, and then I presented it, and council voted for it by a 3-2 vote, which is fine. But I just wanted to comment on tremendously expensive that Mr. Trimmer, you had said. It actually wouldn't be tremendously expensive to set up. We were going to use a portion of ARPA money to set it up, but now that's not happening. So it's going to be budgeted into next cycle. The reason the town administration has made the choice to delay it is simply because it's a part of a certain slate's platform that they want to abolish it. And while I disagree with that statement, I also understand the town's perspective. Why would you go through the effort of making something if somebody's just going to tear it up? Just wouldn't be worth their time. So I hope that answered your questions.
So, Mr.
Well-
President, one more piece I think could be a help to you. In the charter, what was approved was the right to have a municipal court if we decided to have one. It was not a vote to have a municipal court. It was only the right to have one if we decided we wanted one.
It was up to the, Mr. President, it's really up to the council. Even though it was ratified through the General Assembly, it only gave the council a right to establish a municipal court.
But the council did choose by a 3-2 vote to establish a municipal court. And I'm disappointed that it didn't, the development of this municipal court didn't continue. And I vow that if I'm reelected, it will continue.
Well, my question really is that when it comes to a vote and the townspeople vote on it, why isn't it gone into, why wasn't any action taken to establish it until after this next election?
Well, they
Since
vote-
2022.
Again, as Samantha said, we voted, the vote that was taken was to allow the town to discuss it. And we discussed it, we voted on it, but as she said, it went through all the state mumbo jumbo before it came back to us. I hate using that, but it is.
I understand the town council's position on that. But the question is when the voters say yes to the thing, I still, it's not really answering my question, because I want to know why. What is it that the voters, okay, so we put it out for a vote, we vote yes, and then nothing's done about it.
But the voters
Mr.
did not,
President,
I'll let, she's been waiting.
I understand that you feel disenfranchised. More people voted in favor of the municipal court than voted for me to sit here. So I agree with you and I empathize with you. But it is what it is. I don't know how else to explain it. I'm sorry.
so,
Thank you.
Mr. President, I just need to just be clear that what you voted on with the changes in the charter was not to have a municipal court. All it did was give us the legal right as the town council, if we decided we wanted one, that would be okay for us to go forward. Until we had that done, then we couldn't have one even if we wanted. So the vote wasn't to have one, it was to have the right to have the discussion about it.
So, and it passed 3-2, so I assume that 3 wanted it and 2 didn't want it, so it just doesn't get done.
Just to say, what you can do is in the communications, in the packet, you can go online and read it. There was a report from Karen Ellsworth, the former solicitor, in 2018. There were Mr. Saini and Mr. Tremor were on the council. They all voted no for the municipal court then, with the report given to them by the chief of police, who said no to it. Karen Ellsworth said no to it. So I really think information is great. Sometimes smartphones and computers have actually made people not as smart as they used to be. Because now you have this information at your fingertips and now you can read it and you can make a judgment call. When people voted on this, nobody told them about that 2018 report from Karen Ellsworth. I think if most of those people that voted for the municipal court, all right, during the last referendum, I think they would have voted no against it if they were privy to this information that I have at my fingertips and you have at your fingertips right now. So read it and then come back.
My concern is that we did vote, the council did vote to have a municipal court, and we were usurped, and I'm not happy about that.
Right, Mr. President.
Yes,
And there's no way to really know what voters would do in a different circumstance. I mean, we can't really just assume that it would be our way.
but
I would,
but
I
it was
appreciate
voted
you
on,
saying this, so thank
and
you.
it is what it is.
Thank you, Bob.
Anyone else? Anyone online? Okay,
What to reports.
on to reports. The town administrator's report, Karen.
Can I let the chief go first? Because I think he's got some people here.
Sure.
Who would probably want to get on.
Okay,
Thank you very much. Good evening, everybody. How are you?
Good, how are you?
When I invited our folks to come, I did not know there were gonna be so many licenses on this agenda. I almost postponed this one meeting, but it's very important for me to share what I'm aware of, and the accomplishments of our folks, honestly, at the cost of themselves sometimes. In 2019, Rhode Island embraced its very first CIT program, Crisis Intervention Training. We were one of 2 states in the nation that did not have a structured, best practice way of dealing with mental health and behavioral health issues. So if you were blessed with personal skills and some experience, you were kind of winging them outside of those things that you had policies on. But we engaged with 4 other departments in our area on a grant-funded pilot program in Washington County. It is now statewide because it was a success. It works. It's the only reason that we're involved in it. And we had our very first training in October 2019 at Westerly Police Department. And it is, like most mental health, behavioral health issues, they are multifaceted. There's no one thing. It could be a dual diagnosis, drug addiction. It could be depression from some life crisis. It could be a host of things all contributing to this behavior. And the police are confronted with this thing and they're making split-second decisions that they have to live with forever. So this training was excellent. It only continues to improve. But there were 2 people from our department, and I say Ally is part of our department because she's earned that trust from our personnel. She's a member of this community. She lives here. And she has invested herself for the last 5 years with us and 5 other departments, 4 right now that are participating in this. And she is a mental health clinician. Now think about this. Police, by nature, deal with awful things. And you cannot help but be guarded when you are confronted with new people. So your trust level, you're polite, professional, that's the way you have to be. But to be in a cruiser with a police officer, 8 hours or 3 or 4 hours, or go on calls and watch them deal with these situations, there is a level of trust that has to be developed. Ally earned that trust with every single person in our department, and she's earned that trust with all these other departments, and it was not overnight. It was literally incident by incident, interaction by interaction, and it happened pretty fast, faster than I've ever seen it for a non-law enforcement person to integrate with our department. Mental health has changed. COVID happened, pandemic happened. The timing of this could not have been better for us to have this training. Mike Ellis and Ryan Donahue both had that training back in October 2019. They are 2 quintessential examples of how police are supposed to handle mental health calls. They're great with people. All 3 were nominated for awards from our statewide group, from peers in this work, recognized their value. Mike got an award for Police Officer of the Year, CIT Police Officer of the Year, First Responder Police. And Ally, can you guys please stand up and come up here? This is important. They both need attention. They need public attention. They are very good at what they do, but and Ryan is part of that group too. He's an excellent police officer. He's been in this committee for 10 years. Worthy of that nomination. He does great work in the field. He hates attention too, which is why I'm saying his name out loud. But they will recognize in August at an annual CIT summit in Newport, Middletown. They are very deserving of this award. I was gonna have them bring it in and recreate for the purposes of this, but I think just having them stand up and be recognized for the work. Mike came to us in 2018. And he is a school resource officer now. He's doing a fantastic job in the school. Mike had some mental health work, actually behavioral health in Newport Hospital before he joined us. That has only complemented what he's done, but he's fully immersed himself in CIT training. He's actually a trainer himself. He helps teach that class. It's a 40-hour class. Occurs at various places throughout the state because we're trying to get this to all Rhode Island Police Departments. So we're all doing it and using the same best practices the same way. He's actually used it in school setting. He's very good at detecting a problem, intervening, and offering proper resources. Allie has come out to help us so many times. She's with us one day a week. But the reality is we just had a crisis in August and we called Allie. Now, in the old days, you would take a person to the hospital, take them to the ER. Has anybody been to an ER in the last 6 months? Or in the last year? Is it a place you want to sit and wait when you are in the midst of a mental health crisis?
No.
Absolutely not. You're lucky if you get seen. It's not fair to the ER staff. Because of their work collectively, because of this program, our hospitalizations are down. Unnecessary rides to the hospital are down. The follow-up that Allie does for us is fantastic. People call the department and ask for her by name. They'll ask for Mike by name. They'll ask for Ryan by name. I've actually taken some of those calls. So I cannot say enough about the work that they do. This is very time consuming. These are the calls you dread because they're not fixable. They're not easily resolved. They take time, right guys? They take a lot of time. And you're revisiting the same people with the same issue over and over again. The trust that they've earned in our community with people that have problems has led them to be greeted at the door with a smile, a handshake, oftentimes guiding people verbally without having to put hands on them. I cannot say enough about it. Again, congratulations.
Thank you very much. We are truly blessed to have the police department that we have. Karen. That's a hard one to follow.
Sure is. All right, so,
Karen, excuse me, Mr. President. With all the clapping, I have one question for the chief.
Yes.
What is the number one reason why we may not have as good a retention value with our police officers compared to other towns? Number one.
Money.
Thank you.
Okay, Karen.
so essentially I have, one kind of big agenda item, and that is wrapping up the last of the ARPA expenditures, because all that money has to be allocated by December 31st. So I did proactively post some bids for things that, as we discussed before, were, quick, easy ways to spend the money. One of them being replacing the shingles on the roof here, one of them being painting the interior of the building, and one of them being refinishing the porch, which could be beautiful, but it's just dull right now. So I did get bids on all three of those things. You do have the results of those. The paint of the interior comes to $63,430. That's a very low bid, but I did confirm with that. But there were two bids that were very low. I checked with both of them. One had failed to use prevailing wage, so he had to withdraw. The other one did use prevailing wage. The porch came a low bidder, $3,750, and the roof, the low bidder was $58,000, and that one was pretty low as well. But that's actually the same vendor who did the carpet in here, who came in very low, who ended up being great.
Wow.
I did check his references with regards to roofing, just to make sure, you know, it's kind of a vast difference in skill, but he's got a crew for that, and everyone I spoke to was very complimentary of his work on.
Didn't they come in under budget for the
For the carpet.
carpet? And how much was that under budget? Refresh
Um,
everybody's memory.
I believe it was 65,000 was what we had estimated, but I don't remember what his price was off the top of my head. So, the other, right, as of right now, what's left unallocated is $177,983.12. We did have one of our small businesses who we had honestly written off because they hadn't done anything with their small business grant, come back to us at the last minute this week and say, I still want to use the money. She has something she can use it for. So that would be 5,000.
Who was
I
that?
feel like,
Who was that, Karen?
Mama Earth. I feel like we kind of have to do that one because I feel like we promised that, even though we wrote it off because it wasn't acted upon.
Right.
We need to do that.
Yeah.
Agreed.
The other thing that I would like to get done is, there's an environmental study that still needs to be done on the 4 Richmond Townhouse Road project, and Hallie can help me with this one, but, cause she spearheaded the environmental thing, but the company who's doing it now says, well, in order to complete the environmental thing, they need to see the engineering work, which we were not told in advance of them saying they could do the work. So the total of those two things, to be safe, we need about 20,000 for those two things. So, long story short, if you add up the paint, the porch, the roof, the environmental and engineering, the 5,000 for Mama Earth, and then in addition, and the remainder to get to the 177,000, we could then use $27,803 towards the match we need for the grant for the elevator for the police station. That will add up to the 177,000. So I look for your input on that. I know it's a lot of information.
I'd like to make a motion that we do what you've described with the APRO money.
I second that.
Any discussion, further discussion?
Can I just get a clarification on the amounts?
Yes, 63,430 for paint. 3,750 for porch. 58,000 even for the roof. 20,000 for the environmental and engineering for 4 Richmond Townhouse. $27,803.12 towards the match for the elevator. And 5,000 for the.
So in that motion, Mr. President, you're approving those bids, the bids that,
Sure, yeah,
Yes.
that would be great.
That would
Yeah,
be the
and
way
kind
to
of
do
dual
it.
purpose. It's approving the bids and it's also
Yeah,
allocating the opportunity.
approving the bids and improving the allocations as you described.
Yeah.
I have I have a question about the
That can
bids.
be one. That can be all in one motion.
Okay, so go ahead.
We received a list of various companies.
Mhm.
Which one do you actually recommend? I'm gonna be honest, I liked the other formatting where we knew which one you preferred. I'm just gonna say, because usually we would make a motion to approve a bid to a specific company.
Right, yeah, I
and I-
apologize. I didn't do a memo because not knowing what you were gonna wanna do with the
Right.
ARPA money was kind of
Left us
sticky.
flexible.
Yeah, but it's the low bidder who's
The
at the,
NSI,
yes.
okay,
It may be that on one of them, the low bidder was not sorted to be at the top, and I apologize for that if that's
It
the
looks like
case.
it
I'm not
is.
sure. On that one, it is. Yeah, for the roof, it is.
okay.
well, looking at,
This one it is as well.
Okay,
And the last one it
Yeah,
is. So we'll have to
okay, so
make,
you have-
so I would prefer that we keep the motion as is instead of amending it and make 3 motions that we can make it to the specific companies like we usually do. Just
No.
no.
Wait, say that again, please, Council Wilcox.
I would prefer we just vote with the motion that's already on the floor versus amending the motion. That way we have the specific companies within the motion like we usually do, just so it's clear which one we're approving, but
Well,
it doesn't matter. So.
no, that's what I'm
Ms. Weezy,
requesting.
do you have the specific vendors
Yes,
listed in the motion?
Hmm.
Okay.
You said that in your motion? You listed the specific vendors?
I did not.
No,
I did
I
not
think
list the
your
specific.
motion has to list the specific vendors.
I can do a motion to amend and then we vote on the amendment to the motion, then we
Right.
vote on the amended motion. We don't
Exactly.
usually do that. I know it's Robert's rules. We don't typically follow it, but
Mark and Helen want to just add the vendors to the motion. I can add that. to the
I
motion
will,
for you.
I would like to add the vendors to the motion.
And I
Making an
second
amendment
that.
To add the vendors, fine.
The vendors are Scholar Painting, NSI Incorporated, and Elko Painting.
It's actually, that one was not sorted as I thought. If you're only looking at the first column, it may appear that way, but, if you look at the total column, that's the one you want to look at, the 63,430 for
Right.
Scholar Painting on the
Right.
paint. And the other two have the little bit already at the top.
Right.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mike.
You're welcome.
You made a motion, been amended, gonna vote on the amendment?
How do we vote on the amendment?
The amendment was to specifically give the bids to Scholar Painting LLC for $63,430 for the roof, NSI Incorporated at $58,000. And for the bid for the porch was won by Elko Painting for $3,750.
second.
And then there was the other one for the porch, I mean, for the,
Yeah, you said that.
no, I meant the elevator.
Oh,
We don't
The
have
match-
elevator
the
company,
match
but
for
we're
the
matching the
elevator.
grant.
Is that the amended motion now?
yes.
Oh, and we also didn't say, did we say the 20,000 for the environmental study?
And
Well,
Right.
that's,
Karen said that previously.
is
Now
that,
let's start again.
Yeah, can we?
Why don't you
I-
withdraw that motion and start
Let's
again?
just do it one at a
Okay.
time.
I make a motion that we,
You're gonna withdraw your motion?
yeah, I withdraw my motion.
Okay.
Mr. President, I make a motion to approve the bids for the Town Hall interior painting to Scholar Painting LLC, $63,430. For the Town Hall roof to NSI Incorporated, $58,000. For the porch refinishing, Elko Painting, $3,750. For the match grant for the elevator, $20,000. And for the survey study with the engineering, you
It
can,
was 20 for the environmental and engineering and 27,803.12, because it's just the remainder of what's left for the elevator match.
right, 27,803 for the elevator. And then 20,000 for the engineering study.
And
Second.
5,000 for
Hold
the,
on, hold on. Is that the motion or is there more?
And
Uh,
5,000 for
Mama
the,
Earth.
for the Mama Earth.
Okay. Is that the entire motion?
That's the entire motion.
Second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Let's stand. All right,
Take her up to unfinished business.
unfinished business. Okay, approval of the request for Rhode Island Energy, Narragansett Electric, and Verizon New England to install a JO P15-50 on Shannock Hill Road, petition WR 3099-1383.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second?
Is there any discussion?
Yeah, we had to have a, so we needed a motion and a second before we discussed.
Discuss.
Tell you.
Joint poll P15-50 was not part of the freshwater wetlands permit that was issued, nor was it on the plan. this particular poll, like the other polls that have been proposed after the event of the approval by the zoning board, should all be subject to a new special use permit. And I would say the same for item I2, which is for P1, P3, and P2.
Okay. I had heard that these poles were already placed. Is that true?
So 2 poles that the council approved were installed
Okay.
by a party that was not Rhode Island Energy. To date, lines have not been attached to those poles. But we, as the town, have explained that the position that we have is that a special use permit to attach the lines to those poles would be necessary.
Talia, explain to everybody why, when these lines are all over the place, somebody builds a new subdivision, you know, whether it be underground utility, above ground, they just come and they just get approval for the new poles, and then, you know, Rhode Island Energy does their thing.
So with this particular application, when it was put forth, there were specific ways that the utilities would be handled. And they were identified specifically on the plans that were presented to the town. And they are based upon what had been allowed by the freshwater wetlands permit. Freshwater wetlands permit that governed that site was amended after it had actually been recorded, after the plan had been recorded in the land evidence records. So what makes this an unusual situation is that in many instances, you're not having a change as it's going along between having underground or above ground. What's happened here is there has been a change from what had originally been put forth by the applicant. And so it goes back to the importance of abiding by an approved plan. When a plan is reviewed by a body, whether it's the planning board or the zoning board, there's an understanding that what is in that plan is what's going to actually be built. And so when there are deviations from that plan, there can be inconsistencies because what had been approved or what had been reviewed or what had been understood by the parties involved has now changed. So
with the placing of these poles, did they disturb wetlands that weren't originally on the plans from the get-go? Did they, you know, is there underground utilities where, you know what I mean, the piping is going through wetlands to get to the pole? What's the specifics here?
So there has been the 2 poles that are adjacent to the fishing area for Beaver River were initially proposed as being underground. And part of this is because our regulations state that in general, our utilities should be underground to the extent possible. So when the original freshwater wetlands permit was approved, it showed that there were going to be underground utilities in that location. So that's what was presented to the town. Later on in November of 2023 was when Green sought to amend their original freshwater wetlands permit, and that proposed above ground utilities. But the issue is, again, that we have an inconsistency between the plan that was reviewed by the various town entities and what is now permitted by DEM. So it's a very convoluted situation.
I guess,
frankly.
Yeah,
my concern too is that it seems as though the company that is putting in these poles and so on, is that Rhode Island Energy or is it another company?
They are online. There is representation
Okay.
from Rhode Island Energy.
So is it Rhode Island Energy putting these in or is someone else?
Rhode Island Energy is supposed to put in poles,
Right.
and I will leave it at that.
Okay, so
When another party puts in poles and Rhode Island Energy does not put in those poles that they have been, that they have the authority to put in, there can be problems between Rhode Island Energy and the parties that have placed the poles.
Who placed the poles?
Green Development placed the poles.
Is the issue because under the road was, the road bed was made of trees or something, they couldn't get the piping through to do the underground,
That
Wiring.
has been what has been stated.
Yeah.
To date, I have not received communications directly from Rhode Island Energy that express that. So, but in any event, any change to a plan, regardless of what it is, regardless of the purpose, would typically require a new special use permit.
so if they apply for a special use permit, how long would it take for them to get approval?
I can't speak to that because there are certain, when you submit an application for a special use permit, it has to be certified complete by the official who's going to be presenting it or assisting in the presentation of it before the zoning board. The zoning board has to hear it and has to make a decision on it. So I can't give you a specific timeline. I can tell you that if they had applied for a special use permit prior to this particular point in time, the issue very well could have been resolved by now.
Ellie, one last thing, I had somebody look at this and they basically looked at the pole placement. The pole placement, irregardless of who put the pole in, is where the pole should be. And they also mentioned to me that there'd be less of an environmental impact by putting the wires above ground than digging into the old timbers, all right, that they put in probably about 80, 90 years ago, that are still probably, if I was to pull them out, you could probably mill them up and make beautiful furniture out of them because, so that's what they explained to me, that one, the poles are in the same place that they were originally going to. It's just a different company put them in. And then two, with the wires going up above, there'll be actually less of a environmental impact, all right, by putting the wires up. So I would think that us as a town, all right, you know what I mean, environmentally, having less of an impact by putting the wires up above than going underground and disturbing these timbers and whatnot.
So
That's the way it was explained to me.
So that would all be the charge of the zoning board. The zoning board would be the body that would hear that request. They would have to consider the request within that context. I would say that, yes, the freshwater wetlands permit has been amended and they could present information that would explain why this is a more appropriate means of having an interconnection. But none of that work has actually been done as of yet because the zoning board hasn't received a new application for a special use permit. None of this has actually had its day in the sun in
other words, it hasn't been
real terms.
approved, the change to go above ground, well, even though it might be a better idea, hasn't been approved, hasn't been discussed, hasn't been okayed, and the company continues to go along with what they've been doing without regard to what the town has to say. That is my concern. It's not a matter of doing what you want to do and worrying about begging for forgiveness later. It's a matter of asking for permission and following the proper procedures. We require all the other developers in town to follow certain procedures. And this developer has chosen not to. And that is my concern as council president.
The expectation when a plan is approved is that the plan will be abided by.
Did you have something to add?
There are
Right,
some
I
people
appreciate you
online.
circling back because I did ask for attention, but I was going to just kind of say what Talia had said. We may agree, if we look at the plans and think, yeah, maybe it is better to have it above ground, but that's not our decision. It's the zoning board's decision. And who puts up the poles? I don't know. I just feel like that's, if we authorize somebody to go do a project in town, like if we do something across the street and they have subcontractors, I don't know if we need to nitpick that much unless I'm not understanding why it's a big deal, if it's
So-
electricity or something.
So Rhode Island Energy has a unionized workforce.
Oh, okay.
And when they are not allowed to do the work that is allowed or is encouraged or required by their union, then there can be some difficulties.
Perfect. I did. Thank you for informing me on that. Totally makes sense now. And that's all I have, I guess, Mr. President. Thank you.
There are people online.
Rhode Island Energy is top line.
Okay, I'd like to hear from Rhode Island Energy.
Hi, this is Denise Duchimo, the project manager. I don't know if you can see me.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Okay. This is not about if it's overhead or underground. These town permits haven't changed since inception. It's for 3 additional pole sets on Chinook Hill Road to extend the line, and it was always going to be poles on Chinook Hill Road.
So
And
the,
what the concern was, I was told a few months back, was the abutter. So I provided to the town council a full survey of the land and shown that all of the new poles and the upgrades will all be in the town taking. So those 2 permits on your agenda have not changed at all since inception. This is just about the pole sets and not about the developer. That's what I'm here to represent. Just try to get the permits approved for our crews to do the work. And it hasn't changed at all, and it's not part of the wetland concern. It's the poles existing on Chinook Hill Road that we're upgrading that don't need a permit. The permits are for the 3 additional ones and the 16 and 17 that were already approved. This is for 1, 2, and 3 on Chinook Hill Road.
part of the issue with 1, 2, and 3 on Shannock Hill Road is that the location of those poles on the freshwater wetlands permit and the plans that were submitted are on the opposite side of the road. So they've changed the location of those poles. Again, the joint pole P15-50 is not on either of the freshwater wetlands permits. I can't speak, I mean, when a plan is created and it is approved by DEM, there's a specific limit of disturbance. And it shows a specific area that identifies locations where activity is going to be taking place. And if a pole is not included on that plan, can it be developed? That would be a question for DEM. They would need to ask DEM to look at the request and make a determination. So.
RIE always ensures we have the proper permits. So I don't think that's the case.
It's not on the freshwater wetlands permit. I'd be happy to show you the freshwater wetlands permit.
Yeah, I can follow up with our environmental people.
Yes, Chris?
But yeah,
Mr. Semo, are we?
yes,
I think what we were talking about before you came online was whether the placement of these 2 poles on the original plan was supposed to be underground under the approved plan or not.
they were
If-
always overhead on Chinook Hill Road. It hasn't changed
So
because
1,
we
2,
have
and 3
existing
were.
poles there.
So 1, 2, and 3 were, but they were on the opposite side of the street. They were
Right.
proposed to be above ground, but they were on the opposite side of the street.
So Mr. Semo, have you changed the plan, the approved plan?
Not to my knowledge, no. The permits are the same since I've seen in July.
If you move the poles from one side of the street to the other, would you concede that you have changed the plan?
If we moved them, yes, that would be the case. We did put a permit in last month for an additional pole on Beaver River Road. And that was asked to be on hold right now. But the ones along Chinook have not changed.
So if you've moved the pole from one side of the road to the other, and you have in fact changed the approved plan, wouldn't you then need to have a new special use permit showing that location?
No, we've never done that before at RIE. We just applied for the town permits. We've
Actually,
never
I-
obtained a special use permit.
But you have one in this instance.
No, we don't. We've applied the original permits back in July. One was approved, one wasn't. Then I was told there was an abutter with some concerns. So we provided where the poles are being placed on a map, and it hasn't changed since July, the same two permits for the
So
poles
frankly-
on Chinook.
Frankly, it doesn't matter that it's the same as in July because the polls are different from when they were originally proposed as part of the application put forth by Green Development.
It sounds as if there needs to be a face-to-face meeting between maybe you and the plant and the zoning board and the people from Rhode Island Energy all together, so you can actually look at things and see all together.
Yeah, because you're saying your plans are different than her plans, and her plans are saying that they're the same as ours. I mean, these things are all certified, stamped and whatnot. I can't see what the big deal is when we're, you know what I mean, going back and forth here about whose plans are the right plans, the approved plans. This over here, you could lay these things out on this table right now.
I could show you on my screen.
Right, exactly.
It
So,
yeah.
I mean,
It-
why haven't you folks come together and done that?
Because I've repeatedly told them that they need to get a special use permit to change any component of their application, and Green Development has not applied for a special use permit.
Well, first it
We
starts,
repeatedly, I
Yeah.
apologize, we've repeatedly, and by we, I mean myself and the town solicitor, have informed Green Development of the town's position for months. Months.
I would like a copy of your plans that you have on file,
Mike,
and I want a copy of their
Mike.
plans.
this is a town council meeting,
Yeah.
not a conversation meeting. Thank
Well,
you.
I'm the one that's got questions.
I know, but I mean, it's,
And I would be happy to show those.
There just needs to be something face-to-face, paper to
Mm.
paper. So
I
that,
would be glad to come to Richmond and review again if anybody at any time.
I would like to put forth that we put this all on hold until the time comes when the parties come together and discuss it.
I see, Mr. Watson's hand is raised. He is the legal representative for Rhode Island Energy. So I'd feel remiss if we did not let him make any statements that he believes would be relevant to this conversation.
President, that's up to you.
That's
Yeah.
fine. I'd love to hear from him.
Hi, good evening, George Watson, attorney with Robinson and Cole. I'm also here with my colleague Letitia Pimentel, who's been on the phone or on the Zoom call. With respect to the polls, I think there's a few distinct questions being asked right now. With there's the poll set that's right by Beaver Hill. And so those are the two poles that were installed by Green Development. That's not what we're here asking about today. The other two poles, 1 and 2, I'm not sure where they appear on the Ryden plans. I have just reviewed the plans from Ryden have on my screen. I don't see poles 1 and 2, so I can't speak to the location changing. And then with the poles for 15, the joint poles, those are replacement of existing poles. And so I need to check with the environmental folks, but oftentimes when we're doing a pole replacement, it's not part of a wetlands permit because you're replacing what's existing.
So that particular pole is actually situated between 14 and 15, both of which are existing poles. So if you actually look at the plan that is included, it will actually depict with different symbology what is where. And it will show that there are existing poles and a proposed pole.
I'm taking a look, but I again, the plans, these aren't our plans. And so, and we're not the applicant. Getting back to the special use permit question, Rhode Island Energy sets lots of poles in Richmond. It's not something we would ever pursue a special use permit for. And so it's with respect to the discussion of the special use permit and the what's required for setting these poles, we are graciously stepping out of that and letting the town and green development make a determination on that. And so we're aware of what's been done, but we are there's no existing distribution on these poles in particular until you hit pole 15. And so we disagree that a special use permit would be required for this because frankly, green development doesn't have the ability to permit poles within a public right of way. I recognize what was told to what they said at the hearing, but they were saying something that was outside of their powers because they do not have the right to operate a distribution system in Richmond. Only the company does.
To be clear, the request has not been to have Rhode Island Energy apply for a special use permit. It's to have Green Development, the applicant, the party that is actually putting forth the array, to apply for the special use permit.
No, which we understand, but they're getting a special use permit for something that they legally cannot do. And that's where there's a bit of an impasse there because green development can't legally put poles or operate a distribution system in the town of Richmond.
Mr. Watson, it's not the town's responsibility as to who's allowed to put the pole. The town is concerned with the change to the plan that was approved. So the zoning board would review that, and if they approved it, say, you can change the plan, whoever's responsible for doing it, but that the plan can be changed in that manner. That,
Yes.
okay. That's what we're saying.
And I understand that's the town's position, but I would also offer that the zoning board of review doesn't have the jurisdiction over the roads. So they cannot say what can and can't be installed within the roads. Only this town council has that permission.
But only the zoning board of review can change what's been granted by special use permit, not the town council.
Agreed, but the special use permit can only apply to that parcel. It can't apply to lots that are outside that parcel. The parties who have rights to install what's being discussed today are only the town and Rhode Island Energy. It's not green development. And the zoning board review doesn't have jurisdiction over how the town's roads are used.
So Talia, looking at the map that was presented to us tonight, and people can look at it too online. You're looking at the Pexino property. Those service lines are going through his property from left to right.
Which plan is?
These are showing that there's a pole here and there are the utility lines going through his property here and then out his property there, correct?
Can I look at that? I might just want to have it like closer to my actual place.
I have to.
Extra here. Yeah.
Who lost their, did you lose your plan?
No, I think I already gave one.
Oh,
So which line are you referring to?
The Pexino property,
Yes.
when you look at the dotted line that goes from one pole to another pole, those are the,
Those aren't poles.
okay, those are,
When you get a survey done of a property, you're
Right.
finding particular points. So what looks like a pole is actually an iron rod, which is
Right.
used in surveying.
right,
Okay.
That dashed line is showing where, a survey tie-in is. So those are not
so those
poles.
aren't the lines. I
Those
think
are not-
you're right,
Those are not the lines, those are not the poles. This was originally a boundary survey plan. So there are, I'm looking at this plan right now, just doing a very, very cursory look at it. And I don't even really see poles on here. Largely because that's not the purpose of what a survey plan would do. I mean, if there are many poles in an area, they could be identified. But everything that looks like what you would typically, so when you have a map, typically when you have a pole, it's going to be demarcated by a circle with two marks coming off of it. So I can understand why when you're looking at this, it looks like it's referring to a pole. In this, it is just that symbol that typically looks kind of like what you would use for a utility pole is just how this particular surveyor decided would be appropriate to demarcate where the drill holes are.
Right, I wanted you to clarify that because people looking at this online don't see actually the designation spots for the poles. And if somebody looks at this and they're obviously very much a layperson, they're gonna think that these dots here are the poles, and they're gonna look at that dotted line. And the concern of Mr. Pexino is the close proximity of the lines on his property. So I think it would have been good to get the actual, where the pole settings are, to actually see what Mr. Pexino's issue is.
Mr. President,
They're actually.
that was in our
on-
packet materials online. The map we have at our desk, I don't know if it's going to be public record, but it's not a part of our materials because we received it this afternoon, I think. But if you, go under item I1,
Right.
I used online. I don't know how it's set up in your paper packet, but I click a link and then Rhode Island Energy's
Share the
applications
preview.
there and there's that map.
I will note, I did like I said, when I was explaining the symbology for a pole, I was able to look at this plan in a little bit more detail. By that, I mean, look at it for 30 more seconds. And I see that they do demarcate two poles, and the way that they demarcate them on this particular plan is with an open circle.
Well, Mr. President, I don't know if you would entertain this, but, I think we could put this on the next agenda and let the parties involved get together to make sure that their plans, their engineered plans are in sync with one another. And if the zoning board has to give them, approval for the, changes, then, maybe we can expedite it with the zoning board to get the issue resolved, so that way all parties involved, all right, can get on with things. I want to make sure Mr. Pexino's taken care of, but also, you know what I mean, Rhode Island Energy.
Mr. President. Mr.
So-
President.
One finish.
Yeah, I know, just,
I think I would, like to see us do that. So that we give the parties a chance to, come to some sort of meeting of the minds, and if the zoning board has to get involved, then, get it on the next agenda and get it expedited, and everybody gets what they want.
Yep, I'd be
Mr.
happy to.
President?
Okay. It's just-
is that what we did last time? We asked them to put it to the zoning board and,
We did.
okay.
Well, it was a little bit different, Mr.
Yeah.
President. It was, you basically said, let the zoning board do their job, and I'm gonna paraphrase, we kind of tabled it. Okay, go to the zoning board. That, there was no application to the zoning
Right.
board made, right? We can't compel somebody to apply.
Right.
It didn't happen.
But we can compel somebody to apply by just putting this off until they do so.
Well, I wouldn't say that, I
No.
would say necessarily compel, but certainly the planner said she'll make herself available. I can certainly make myself available on an afternoon or a morning, if Mr. Watson wants to attend, or by Zoom or in person, whatever, that's.
Denise, the parties, that are involved with this get together, and if you want in the form of a motion, that, we have a town planner get together with the appropriate person from National Grid, Rhode Island Energy and Green Energy, and see how you can work this out if they have to go before the zoning again to get those changes ratified. That's my motion.
Do you
I
think
second
that'll
that.
work?
Mr. President?
Yeah.
I mean, you can make a motion. I don't know that it's necessary. Certainly if if the planner is available and Mr. Watson and his client are agreeable, we'll meet. And I don't, we can probably do that soon, if they want.
Do we have agreement on that from the applicant? They're both
Rhode Island Energy.
Rhode Island Energy and Green.
Because again, excuse me, Mr. President, ultimately, the town council is going to approve these poll positions. So as far as I'm concerned, I think it's behooves us to put a motion on the floor so that way it's carved in stone, that way the parties, our town planner and Rhode Island Energy get together. We will not approve these poll positions until we get a resolve from our town planner and Rhode Island Energy.
Excellent. Great idea.
Yes.
Second.
So the motion is to specifically to do what? Is to-
Would you mind reading it back, Aaron?
I just wanted to-
Wait.
Is to have the town planner meet with Rhode Island LNG and Green Energy, and that the town council won't take action until it's been resolved.
I would just correct it because it's green development. not
Green development.
Okay.
I wouldn't want to invite some
Right.
random, hello.
Come to our party.
Yes,
So
come to our
you-
party.
We have a motion and a second.
And understanding that if the planner can make herself available and certainly do that based on your motion and your directive. But these folks have to also want to do that. We can't make them.
Well, again, Mr. Solicitor, if they don't get together with the direction of this motion, then this council will not approve their poll position. So they have to.
Mr. President,
Yes.
I would prefer just a motion to table and they take what they want from the conversation and make their own decisions accordingly. I don't know. It just feels a little stronger to me, but I'm fine with it as well.
Okay. Any further discussion?
No, we're good.
How do you vote?
Aye.
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 Thank you, Talia.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
Mr. President,
Yes.
motion to file communications, decisions, proclamations, and resolutions from other Rhode Island cities and towns.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Mr. President,
Yes.
motion to enter executive session pursuant to RIGL 42-46-5A2 regarding potential litigation concerning Noosenet Conservation Subdivision.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Do I have a motion to come back into session?
Mr. President, move to come back into open session.
Second,
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye,
Mr. President,
yes.
motion to seal the executive session minutes.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Mr. President,
Yes.
motion to authorize the town solicitor to pursue bond action against Universal Excavating Inc. and its employees, officers, and signs, and file any and all civil causes of action against Universal Excavating Inc. and its employees, officers, and assigns to compel compliance with the approved site plan and recover any and all money damages in connection with the Nooseneck Hill Conservation subdivision.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye,
Mr.
Mr.
President.
Pre-
yes.
Oh, great, you're on a roll.
Thank you, Chair. Okay.
You,
Mr. President,
yes.
move to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Talia, I just wanted to thank you for both your steadfast